Welcome everyone. Welcome to yoga. We are going to need a chair for today's practice. I have a strap, which I'm going to leave just here on the back of my chair. I have two blocks, right? So I have two blocks. It might be helpful if you are sitting in a chair to sit a little bit more forward. So just your sits bones are on the chair. And if your feet don't touch the floor, or if you'd feel a little bit more comfortable, you can always place two blocks under your feet as well. If that gives you a little bit more lift in the legs, it's up to you. You can also just leave some blocks just outside of the feet. We might fold forward a little bit. And if you want to put your hands down on the blocks, you can. So, blocks and props are always really useful for our practice. If you have a blanket, and you can put that off to the side, or if you don't have a chair and want to start seated, then start seated on your blanket. You can start with your legs crossed if you want, or take a second and just grab a chair. So make sure your chair is pretty sturdy, pretty firm, and make sure that your feet are on the floor and your hips are only on, your thighs are off. My legs are at sort of a right angle here. So my knees in line with the hips and my knees in line with the ankles. And just close your eyes, place your hands on your thighs. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Sit up nice and tall. As you inhale, lifting the chest, sitting up a little bit taller. As you exhale, soften the shoulders away from your ears. Take another full breath in, breathing in deeply, maybe even here holding your breath. Breathe in a little bit more, and then exhale it out. Deep breath in through the nose, lengthen through the crown of your head. Sit up just a little taller. As you exhale, shoulders away from the ears. Keep the integrity of your spine. Try not to arch in the lower back. Just sit up tall, hands on the thighs, feet feeling grounded either to blocks or to the floor. Just breathe in slowly in and out through the nose. Calming breaths, cool air as it comes in. Allow your body to warm the breath. Breathing out through the nose, maybe even starting to notice your Ujjayi breath. And if you're not sure what that is, when you take a deep full breath in, and if you exhale with the mouth open like you're fogging up a mirror, you want to think about that, but keep the lips closed. So then take your deep breath in, and as you exhale, let the breath come up through the throat. Keeping the lips closed, it presses its way out the nose, and it sounds like a little more of a wave-like sound. So keep breathing in and out that way. And for today, I wanted to ask you a question about procrastinating. Are you a procrastinator? Are you someone who puts things off? And why, if you are one, why, do you do that? Do you know someone, maybe a spouse, a sibling, a friend who's a procrastinator, and maybe it drives you crazy because you're not a procrastinator? But what is it that makes people procrastinate? Is it the just not wanting to do something? Is it maybe painful to think of having to do something that you don't really want to do? Oftentimes, though, I may procrastinate even about procrastinating about my class, because I know it's going to take me some time to sit there and focus and just ignore the things that are going around and just focus on what I want to teach the class. So oftentimes I'll get up, I'll walk away, I'll come back, maybe I'll go mow the lawn or I'll do something else. But eventually when it gets done, I have a sense of completion, of fulfillment, of feeling good. So even with the procrastination, once you do finish your task, you do come away with a little bit more sense of completion. So take another deep breath in and a full breath out. And then with your hands on your legs or your kneecaps, cat and cow. So inhale, pull the heart forward. As you exhale, tuck your chin and round. As you inhale, pull your heart forward, maybe slide the hands towards you. And as you exhale, you can even slide the hands back forward and round. Just one more. Inhale, lift. And exhale, round. Slowly come back to your neutral spine And just dip your chin towards your chest. And allow your head to just rest. And if this is just too much, maybe back off a little bit, or keep the shoulders away from the ears. Let the neck be long and the back side of your neck. And without much effort, just allow the chin to just come towards the chest. So without much effort. Just breathe into the back of the neck. And slowly allow the head to roll towards your left shoulder. You're going to lift your chin just slightly. Now maybe here you reach your right arm long and away from you. Let your left ear come towards your left shoulder. Reach your right arm just long, not all the way out to the side, but just a little bit down towards the hips. And then take your right arm up and over the ear and come into a side bend. Settle here just for a moment, making sure that your right sits bone doesn't lift. You can look under your right armpit now. Gently come back to center. Keep the right arm up overhead. Bend your right elbow. Pat yourself on the back. Take your left hand to the right elbow and gently guide your right elbow a little bit more into the midline. You should feel a little bit more of a stretch down the right side of your body. You're going to open up some of the shoulders this morning. Notice if you're puffing your chest out or arching in your lower back, and just soften there. And then releasing the right arm, let the hands come back down. Cat and cow, one more time. Heart comes forward as you inhale and exhale, tuck and round. Come back to a neutral spine and dip your chin back in towards your chest again. Just breathe here for 2 breaths, lengthening through the back of the neck, softening the shoulders away from the ears, sitting up tall with your spine. Rolling the head towards the right shoulder, just pause for a moment. Let it be easy. When you're ready, reach the left arm, maybe a little bit longer off to the side. Just reach it long. And then when you're ready, we're going to take the left arm up and over for a side bend to the right. And then look under your left arm. Keep the left sits bone grounding. Don't let your left hip lift up. Gently come back to center, left arm still to the sky. Bend your left elbow. Pat yourself on the back. Right hand to the left elbow, maybe just a little stretch in the tricep. Notice if you're puffing out your chest, soften the chest. And then release both hands to the thighs again. One more cat and cow, heart forward. Inhale, exhale, round. Come to your neutral spine, lift the chin, bring your hands to heart center. Set an intention for your practice today. Maybe dedicating it to someone or something, maybe to a procrastinator that you know, or maybe you're procrastinating about something and this is just a dedication to getting that to completion. And then take your arms overhead, prayer overhead, let the palms touch. Maybe press the palms in towards one another. And then bend your elbows and bring your thumbs right behind your head, right behind your neck. Feel long in the sides of the body, maybe lift up through the elbows. And then bring the hands back to heart center. Take your left arm and bring it across your body. And then make your right arm into like a T. So the right arm crosses the left. Soften the left shoulder away from the ear. Look over the left shoulder. Releasing, opening the arms out, big breath in. As you exhale, this time, right arm crosses, left arm like a T. Take your gaze to the right. Soften the right shoulder away from your ear. Releasing, inhaling, opening, big arms open wide. Exhale, round, press the palms in towards one another. Even press the palms together to feel your chest muscles engage. Slowly sweep the arms down and up. Bring the arms overhead. And then arms out to the side in the T. Bend your elbows. Let the fingers touch your shoulders. Take a deep breath in. Lift the elbows. As you exhale, pull the elbows down and let the hands soften the shoulders away from the ears. Let the arms come back into neutral, hands still on the shoulders. See if you can touch the elbows in towards center. Maybe the elbows touch. Now big circles, start to lift the elbows up and open. Down, squeeze them back together to close. In, lift, open, lower, back into close. One more this direction. Close it off and then go the opposite. So maybe down, out, up, and together. 2 more times. Last time. Let the elbows touch. Take a breath. Release it out. Let the arms go. Now, if you are seated with a chair with a backing, you can take your hands to the chair and grab onto the chair. If you are seated on the floor, you can take your hands behind you, maybe grabbing opposite elbows or clasping the palms. You can also do that here in the chair. So I'm grabbing onto my palms, I'm crossing my thumbs, draw the knuckles down and away, maybe lift the heart. So you can either grab the back of the chair or maybe you're clasping your hands. Take a deep breath in. Take a full breath out. Keep opening the chest. Draw the shoulder blades in towards one another. Breath in. As you exhale, separate the hands and bring the arms back out in front. So either bring your right arm under the left and give yourself a hug. If you want to go a step further, you can bring your arms into eagle arms. And what eagle arms are you're lifting your elbows up in line with the shoulders, and then let the backs of your palms touch. Now you can just stay here. You can wrap the arms if you want. Lift the shoulders, press the fingers away. So either way, whether you're hugging or wrapping the arms, release the arms, let the arms sweep back behind you, maybe catch the back of the chair. You can catch opposite elbows, or you can clasp your palms and maybe you have the opposite thumb on top. So here I am, I've got my hands clasped, I'm pressing my palms in towards one another, my thumbs are crossed. Take a breath in, lift the chest, maybe squeeze those shoulder blades together. You can even open the throat if you want to. Exhaling, another breath in, full breath out. Separate the hands, and this time hug with the left arm under, right arm on top. So stay here, just line up your elbows. This is completely fine. Reaching back, fingers reach back towards your shoulder blades. Or you can start to lift the elbows up and bring the backs of the palms to touch. You can stay here, or you can wrap the wrists around and maybe the palms touch. Lift your elbows up. So turn sideways, just lift the elbows up. Take a breath. Exhale it out. Just soften in your back. You can feel the stretch in the backs of the shoulders. Slowly unwind the arms, release. Big breath in, arms up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Now, if you have a strap, grab your strap. And we're going to hold on to your strap at one end and the other end. And now here you can open up the strap a little bit wider. So my arms are going to be wider than my shoulder width. They're not going to be out to the sides. Make it a little bit shorter. So, here would be shoulder width. Maybe a little bit wider. You can always adjust. So not as wide as the whole strap. Make sure that it's shorter. You want to make it a little bit shorter. So close the hands up a little bit more. There you go. Make sure that there's tension though on your strap. Now, as you inhale, take the arms overhead. Pause here. As you exhale, we're going to tip to the right. So just pull on your right hand. Stretch a little bit more on the left side of the body. Keep your left sits bone on the mat or on the chair. Come back into center. Take your breath. As you exhale, just let the hands float down. As you inhale, take the arms up with the strap. As you exhale, tipping just a little to the left this time. Maybe your left hand pulls a little bit. You can look under the right armpit. Keep your right sits bone grounded. Come back into center and let the arms float down. With your next breath, we're going to bring the arms up And now here, maybe let the strap come a little behind the head. And if you feel like it's too much, then lengthen the hand distance of, between one another, lengthen that apart and slide the hand down the strap to make yourself a little bit more space. So maybe the hands and arms come a little bit behind you. Maybe you take another breath and the arms float all the way down behind you. And then as you inhale, maybe bring the arms back up, pausing where you need it, and maybe sliding the hands wider if you need it, and then bring it back down onto the thighs. So we'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, take the arms up. Maybe pause here, just gently behind the head with the strap. If you want to keep going, keep exhaling, releasing the strap behind you. Being mindful if there's a back of your chair behind you. Bring the arms back up when you're ready. Slowly lower down. Try to do this without bending the elbows. So maybe just widen the strap if you need a little bit more space. Inhale, bring it up. And exhale, take it behind you. Slow it down. Bring it back up. And then release down. So let's take the strap, just place it on your lap for right now. And we're going to take the hands and bring your hands behind you. Now, if you can clasp your hands here, just clasp them. You don't need to extend the arms. You can keep the elbows bent. But what I want you to do is to bring the hands, the clasped hands, to the right side of your body. So my left arm is hugging around the back of my body, and the left back of my palm is looped right around my right side, right? So if you need me to come just a little closer so you can see, I've taken my hands from back here and I've just wrapped it around so that my knuckles are here on the right side of my body. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, dip the right ear towards the right shoulder. And then come back into center, release the arms. We're going to do the other way. Take the hands behind you. You don't need to straighten the arms. Just clasp your hands and let your hands come to the left side of your body this time. So I'm pulling my right arm behind me and I'm gently bringing the arm around towards my left side body. Take a breath here. As you exhale, dip the ear towards the left shoulder. Even bigger stretch in the neck and the upper shoulder. And then we're going to come back into center, release the arms and shake it out. So the next pose we're going to do, we're going to use your strap and place the strap on the right shoulder. So this pose is called Gomukhasana pose. And it's a pose that you can access when you're using a strap, but sometimes you can also do it, without a strap if you had some open shoulders. So take both arms out to the sides and bring the arms up overhead, big breath in. As you exhale, bend your right elbow, pat yourself on the back like we did earlier, and come back to your tricep stretch. Good. Now keep your right arm where it is. Maybe if you have the arm behind the head, you can even press the head into the arm. Keep that right arm where it is. Can you take your left arm out to the side? Turn your left thumb down, and then take the left arm behind the back and catch the strap. Now your right hand and your left hand is going to catch the strap. And you're going to look a little bit like this. Catch it where you can. If you can always try to link the fingers or just use the strap. It's a really great shoulder opener pose. The strap is very useful here. And then just release the arms, take them out to the side, bring out the shoulders, thumb up, thumb down. And we'll do the other side. So take the strap over to the left. Be careful not to let the thing hit you in the face like it hit me. We're going to take the left arm this time up, bend your left elbow, pat yourself on the back. And this time the right hand comes into your tricep stretch. So really try and stretch this whole left side of the body, not just the tricep. Draw the left elbow in towards the center of your midline. And then can you keep that left hand here? And take the right arm this time out to the side. Turn your right thumbs down. Reach the hand behind you. Maybe catch the strap with both hands. So again, this pose is called Gomukhasana pose. It's a great opener for the shoulders. You can grab the straps. You can reach for the fingers if that's in your practice and available to you. Just really great way to stretch out the shoulders. Oftentimes we do much more rounding in our day. This just opens the shoulders. Release the arms out, bring out the shoulders. All right, and then slowly take the strap and we're just gonna put it down. So now if you're seated, you might have to find a way to come and sit up on something, maybe even if it's a block or 2 blocks, because we're gonna now just do a little bit with the lower body. You could still be seated and do it, but just work with what you have and we'll do the best we can. So you can have the feet to the floor, just like we are, and draw the right knee in towards the chest. Just hold the right knee in there as best you can. Point and flex your toes. And then release the right foot to the block or to the floor. And then let's bring the left knee in. Draw it in towards the chest. So try not to round here. Sit up tall. Just bring the knee in as best you can. And if you feel a little off balance, all you need to do is use the hands to pull on the shin and let your shin push back into the hands. And it gives you like instant balance or instant support. And then release the left leg. Now place the hands on the thighs or the hands on the hips, and we're just gonna lift the leg and release. Lift the other leg and release, just march. Activating your hip flexors, engaging your core. One more each side. And then release. Now bring the right knee into the chest and just with the right hand, catch the shin. Your left hand can stay on your hip. Now see if you can take the right knee out to the side and then pull it back in. Take the right knee out to the side, open out, and then pull it back in. Good, one more time, open out and pull it back in. Release the right foot to the ground, left knee into the chest with just the left hand. Flex your left foot, just open the left knee out to the side. Come back to center, open, and center, open, and center. Release the left foot to the ground. We're going to take both feet wide now. So if you're on the ground, maybe you come into like a pose called Baddha Konasana where the soles of the feet touch and the knees are wide. If you're seated, just take the knees wide. And we're gonna place the hands on the thighs and gently start to dip your left shoulder in. Maybe you're pushing down into the left thigh. Come back into center, turning towards the front. Turn to the left, push the knees open. Come back to center one more time, left shoulder in. Come back to center, right shoulder in. Coming back into center, bring your feet now in towards the center. And we're going to come into figure 4. So if you are on the ground, you might want to roll down onto your back for figure 4. We're going to place your right ankle onto the left thigh. So if you're on the floor, roll down onto your back and come to figure 4 your way. So right ankle onto your left thigh. Gently make sure that the right knee keeps pressing open, flexing your right foot, okay? If you are on your back and you want to thread through, you can reach through for the hamstring. If you're seated like me, take your left hand to the right foot and the right hand to the thigh, press them towards one another, and maybe you can fold in just a little with a flat back. Make sure that your left foot is firmly planted either on a block or the floor. Chest comes towards the shin in either way, either on the back or on the chair. Slowly come on up, right? If you are on the floor, just cross that right leg over the left. If you're seated in the chair, cross like you're just gonna sit in the chair with the legs crossed, however you can. All right, now make sure that if you're on the floor, you can cross that right leg all the way over the left. And then you're gonna, on the floor, hug the knees in, and us who are standing, we're gonna fold into the right crossed leg. My left foot is firmly planted. Start to rise up. Release the right foot to the block or to the floor. If you're on your back, unwind. We're gonna come to the other side. So left ankle to the right thigh. So everyone has like a tight side, or maybe both sides are tight. For me, I'm like the yoga teacher with the tightest hips. So this side for me is my tight side. So seating in the chair, I can actually feel it more because my hips are now a little bit more even, and you can't cheat as much by scooting the hip out. But if you are on your back, just let the left ankle come to the right thigh. If you want to thread it through, if you're on your back, you can reach through and thread it through. If you're seated like me, right hand to the left foot, left hand to the left thigh. Push them towards one another to get some stability in your knee. And then fold in any amount. Let your heart come forward. So I feel this a lot more now seated in the chair than I usually do on the ground, because obviously I'm finding I'm sticking out my hip when I do it. So, and you know, that's just a way of me trying to get into something when I should be taking a second or two to correct myself. So seated in the chair feels really good. Come on up, cross the left leg over the right, like you're just sitting. And if you're on your back, just cross it over, same way, cross the legs. Now, hug the knees in if you're on your back, or fold in, maybe grabbing onto the knees and pulling your way forward. So even here, we're in sort of like what could be eagle legs, right? These legs are sort of like in eagle. Like there's a pose called eagle. And then slowly come on up. Uncross both legs, and if you're on the floor, just uncross them as well. If you're on the floor, hug the knees into the chest. If you're seated, let's take your arms up. As you exhale, we'll fold into the legs, but take the arms under the thighs and just pull yourself in. So you could do this too on your back if you wanted to hug under the knees by the by the hamstrings. You can let your head go, pull it in. And then slowly lifting the chest, reach the arms, big breath in. And exhale, hands to the heart. Okay, so now we're gonna come to stand. So you're gonna take your feet off the blocks if they're on the blocks. If you're seated in a chair, come on up off of your chair. Now you can take your chair and place it at the front of the mat and use your chair if you need a little bit more height. Just make sure that the chair is on the mat firmly planted. I'm going to use some blocks instead. So you can take your blocks and place them just here at the front of the mat. And we're going to start in mountain pose. So I'm going to turn sideways so that you can see me. You guys can stay at the front of your mat or wherever you're comfortable. Rock forward and back on the feet. Just get the legs warmed up. We've been sitting. You know, maybe you come to the tippy toes or the balls of the feet. Lower the heels, just rock forward and back, lift the heels, feel your calf muscles, maybe even pause, see if you can stay on the tippy toes just a little while longer. Maybe lower the heels, rock back. Can you lift your toes just a little? And then settle your feet onto the floor. Lift just your toes, all 10 toes, spread them wide, and then place the toes back on the mat. And if you look down, maybe you could see a little bit of mat in between each toe. It's always good to start with the feet. Get the feet going, right? Those are foundation. You know, you always want to take care of your feet. And then let your breath travel from the feet. Turn the legs on. Torso starts to lengthen. Breath in, reach through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, reach the arms out to the sides and open your fingers out wide and come into mountain pose. So legs are turned on. Spine is lengthening and reaching, arms reach down and out, and legs are grounding. Take a deep breath here, inhale, and exhale. With the breath in, let's bring the arms up overhead, big breath in. As you exhale, cactus your arms, so bend your elbows to 2 right angles or goalpost. Reach the arms up again, inhale, reach. Exhale, pull. Feel your back muscles really engage. Inhale, reach, find your length and stretch. Exhale, pull. Actively pull the elbows down. Now pause here for a moment, take a breath. As you exhale, twisting to the right. So maybe you can keep your goalpost arms twist to the right. Try and keep your right hip from opening too much. Now as you inhale, we'll come back to center. Reach the arms up again, big breath in. As you exhale, pull the elbows down, engage the back muscles, squeeze those back muscles, take a breath. As you exhale, twist to the left, keep the engagement of the back muscles, really pull the muscles in towards the bones. With each exhale, twist a little deeper, keep the left hip from opening. Inhale, arms reach up, straight up, breath in. Exhale, let the arms sweep down. Let your arms come out in front, big breath in. Exhale it out. Palms touch, pressing into the hands. Really press your hands to touch. Feel your chest muscles engage. Now, as you inhale, open the arms up wide. Stretch the chest, but engage the back. Exhale, close the arms and press into the palms so that the chest engages. Inhale, open, back muscles engage. Exhale, chest engages as you press the hands together. Now take both arms out and up and clasp your hands, flip your palms, press the arms up to the sky, stretch out your wrists, feel long in the sides of the body, and then bring that hands behind the head so your hands are clasped. Now as you inhale, open the elbows out to the sides. And as you exhale, maybe bring the elbows in towards one another, maybe they touch, and tuck your chin. Inhale, lift the chin, open the elbows, let the head be supported by your hands as you open the throat. As you exhale, tuck the chin, draw the elbows towards one another, squeeze at the temples. As you inhale, lift the chin, open the arms out. Exhale, tuck the chin, elbows draw in. Inhale, open, let the head support you. Exhale, release. All right, so make sure your blocks are right out in front. We're going to take both arms up overhead, inhale, reach. And as you exhale, let the hands float down to the blocks. Now my blocks are at my highest level, and they're just in front of my feet. And my feet are going to be about hip distance apart. And here, just start to bend your right knee, bend your left knee, let your hip dip, but try and keep, your shoulders and your torso maybe in line as the knees bend and the hips dip. And then bend your right knee deeply and keep the right hand on the blocks. See if you can lift the left hand off of the block, or maybe you peel it up to the sky. You can also take the left hand to your sacrum and just open the shoulder. You can stack the arms, twist, breathe in, breathe out. Another inhale and exhale. Release the left hand to the block. Bend your left knee. Maybe you hover your right hand off of the block. You can start to take your twist. Maybe the right arm peels up to the sky. Maybe you take your right hand to your sacrum and just open the chest to the right. Whatever works for you. Breathing in, breathing out. Keep bending your left knee. Keep reaching the right arm. One more breath. And then as you inhale, you're going to unwind and release. Fold forward, let the knees bend slightly. You can even bend your elbows, let your head go. Make sure that the weight shifts to the balls of your feet. And then rise up. So let's root down on the feet, maybe hands to the hips, or sweep the arms out and up, reach to the sky, breath in. As you exhale, let the arms float back down to the blocks. Fold your way in. And then as you inhale, lift the chest and come to like a tabletop where your feet are on the ground and your hands are on the blocks. So here, let's come into cat and cow. So if this is too low for you, take it up to your chair. As you inhale, drop your belly, gazes up. And as you exhale, press into the blocks, tuck your chin and round. Inhale, drop the belly, gazes up. And exhale, press, lift, and round. Now find your neutral spine. We're going to heel toe your feet in just a little bit more, maybe even they touch. And let's take your left leg and lift your left leg straight back. Find your balance. Make sure the left toes turn down so that your hips are nice and even and square to the front of the mat. If this is too much, take a slight bend in the right knee because maybe it's a little tight in the right outer thigh. You can always bend the right knee. And then step your left foot all the way back to the ground. Slide the blocks with you. Find your lunge. Right knee and the right ankle are in line. My left leg is straight back and I'm on the ball of my back foot. So here, can you take your twist? My left hand stays, my right arm starts to peel up, or maybe I just take my hand to my hip, to my sacrum. We're gonna hug your right leg in, lift your left thigh, and then inhale, start to unwind, bring the hands to the blocks. Now, pivot your left foot and plant it on the mat, and then we're gonna walk towards the left side of our mat and parallel your feet for a wide straddle. This is called Prasarita pose. Now, if you need blocks here, take your blocks with you. Don't be afraid to take them with you. Your hands are gonna be right under the shoulders, lengthen, and exhale, fold. So here as you fold forward, let the weight shift to the balls of the feet. Make sure your toes are slightly in and your heels are pressing out. If you press deeply into the outer parts of your feet, your arches will lift, and that's really good. You're getting a nice stretch in the ankle. Inhale, find your breath. Exhale, fold. Here, bring your hands onto your hips and rooting down on the feet. Lift your chest. Come on up to rise. Excellent. Turn your right toes out towards the front of the mat. We're coming to warrior two. Slowly bend the right knee. Sink into your warrior two. Let your arms reach long. Arms are right at shoulder height. And like I had mentioned before, just squeeze those muscles in. Feel the back muscles engage. Feel the chest muscles engage. Reach the arms. Lower the lower body a little bit more. Flip your right palm. Let's reach up and back. Peaceful warrior. Right arm lifts. Let's slowly bring the right forearm to your right thigh. And the left arm comes over the ear. So my right knee is bent. And my right forearm is onto my right thigh. Make your way back up into warrior two. And we're going to straighten the right leg. Now, bring your left heel in and your right heel are in. So my toes are out and my heels are in. Start to bend into the knees, bring your hands to the thighs. So we did this seated in our chair. Now here, dip your left shoulder in, press the knees open. Come back to center. Dip your right shoulder in, press the knees wide. Good, so dip the shoulder in. We did this seated. Come back up to center. We're going to straighten the legs nice and strong. Parallel your feet. Fold your way in. Take your blocks with you. If you did, take them, bring them back to the front of the mat. Turn towards the front of your mat, and we're going to step forward and let your feet meet. And then just fold in. Now root down on the feet. Rise up, reach the arms. Big breath in. As you exhale, float the hands down to your blocks. Now we're setting ourselves up for the other side. So the blocks are right under my shoulders. My left foot is grounded. I'm going to lift my right leg straight back. Keep your hips even, right toes turned down. Now here, if you need a little bit more, you need a little bit less of a stretch, then just bend your left knee slightly. It'll give you a little relief on that left side of your outer hip, your IT band. Take your breath, inhale, nice and long in your spine. And as you exhale, let's step it all the way back. And as the right toes land, let's bring the blocks and surround the left foot. Now my left knee and ankle are in line. I'm in my lunge. We're going to take a twist here. So the right hand, well, first of all, make sure if you look at your feet are about hip distance widthwise apart. They're about hip distance widthwise apart. Now I'm up on the ball of my back foot and my right hand is on the block. Let's peel the left arm up for a twist. You can always take your left hand into your hips and find your twist that way. Now, as you inhale, start to unwind, bring the hands to the blocks, and we're going to make our way into a straddle towards the right side this time. So pivot and plant your right foot, and we're going to walk towards the right side, maybe take your blocks with you. You're in a straddle, you're turning your toes in, you're pressing your heels out. If you have your blocks, they're right under the shoulders. Breath in, and exhale, fold in. Let the weight shift to the balls of the feet. Keep pressing into the outer parts of your feet so that the inner arches lift. Let your head go. If you need a bend in the knees, take it. Slowly start to rise up, lift the chest, bring the hands to the hips, lifting up into your standing straddle. Let's turn the left toes out, and we're gonna do warrior two. So bend into your left knee. My left toes are towards the front of the mat. My right toes turn slightly in, and I'm pressing out through my right heel. So think about your right foot as at about 2 o'clock. Bending into your left knee, take the arms out long, squeezing the muscles in towards the bones. Find your strong warrior two pose. Settle in here just for a couple of breaths. Breathing in. I know this is a strong pose. Legs are just gonna have to hold on here for another breath or two. One more breath. Release that breath. Now let's flip your left palm, peaceful warrior. Left arm up, right hand to the right thigh. And then from here, extended side angle. Left forearm comes to the thigh, right arm up and over the ear. Come back into warrior two, lifting up, find your two. Straightening your left leg. Let's bring the right heel in and the left heel out. So you can shorten your stance here if it's too wide. Bringing the toes out, heels in. Start to bend the knees and bring your hands to the thighs. Keep your tailbone towards the ground. Maybe you dip your left shoulder in, and then you dip your right shoulder in. Switch and dip your left shoulder in. Keep pressing the knees open. We did this seated. Right shoulder in. Come back into center, straightening the legs. Come back into your warrior two. And then we're going to bring our hands down to the blocks, grab your blocks. Step it forward, fold in. Release the head. Let's place the blocks off to the sides. We're going to step back into downward facing dog. So if you want to come through plank pose first, you can, and then lift the hips up into downward dog. If downward dog is not working for you today, you can always put your hands on the chair or on the blocks. Give yourself a little bit of lift in the hands to help get you into downward facing dog. So use the blocks. They're going to be at the lowest level if you need them. Pedal out your feet, bending the knees. Now, this is our first of our downward dog, so just settle in. Maybe come up onto the balls of the feet, lifting high. Then maybe you're bending the knees, let your chest come towards the thighs. Lift your armpits up a little bit, straighten the legs, lower the heels. If you can see your heels, then let the heels turn out a little bit, just a tiny, tiny bit. Take another breath in. Take another breath out. 2 more breaths. Inhale and exhale. 1 more breath. Inhale. 1 more exhale. Now with your next breath in, just come forward into a plank pose. You can always drop your knees. Hold your plank pose, whether full plank or modified plank. Strong here in the upper body. Wrists, elbows, shoulders in line. Press away from the mat. And then slowly lower down into your knees. If you need a blanket here, take it. But we're just coming right down onto our belly. Nice and slowly lowering down. And preparing for a cobra pose. So lift your right leg and walk your right leg long. Lift your left leg, walk it long behind you, get long in the legs, press into the tops of the feet. Lift your kneecaps off of the mat. Walk your hands a little bit more down towards your lower rib cage. Make sure your wrists and elbows are in line. Grip the mat with your hands. As you inhale, we're pressing into the tops of the feet and the fingerprints. Let's lift up. Cobra pose. Shoulders draw away from the ears. Pull your heart forward. Let the legs reach back behind you. Take another breath. Inhale. And as you exhale, fold in, releasing. Taking a breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Bring your palms onto the mat right under your forehead. Rest your forehead right on the back of one of the palms. And then just bend your right knee, bend the left knee. Windshield wipe the legs from side to side, side to side. Settle your lower back. And then gently let the legs float back down to the mat. Bring your hands onto the mat, pressing back gently and slowly into a child's pose. Breath in and breath out. So in your child's pose, your knees can touch, your knees can be wide, your big toes can touch, whatever you want. Take another breath here. Exhale it out. Now here, let your hands walk towards one another and find a prayer pose with the hands. And like we did seated, we're going to bend the elbows and bring the thumbs behind the neck. Now, if you're not feeling enough here, walk the elbows a little bit more forward. Take a deep breath in and take a full breath out. Stretch out your triceps, the armpits. And then release the arms. We're going to find your blanket. So find your blanket if you have one. If not, that's fine too. And we're going to come to sit on the blanket. So we're having our sits bones on the blanket. Let the soles of the feet touch, knees open wide. And if you need some blocks underneath the knees, take it. Here we're going to just flutter the knees, flutter them open, up and down, up and down. And then we're going to take the hands onto the ankles. Now your feet might be a wider distance or a farther distance away. That's okay. The feet can be much farther in front, or they can be really close to your groin area. But if your feet are closer to the groin area, I don't want you to round in the lower back. I want you to sit up nice and tall. Take a breath here, inhale. And as you exhale, just fold in any amount. Press the elbows into the legs, let the knees soften. Again, if you need some more support here, take the blocks, place them underneath the thighs, or you can also stack one block on top of the other. Place your forehead on the blocks. There's so many options to do, when you're working with props. You can always just stack them, placing the forehead on the blocks. If this pose is just not for you, maybe you just cross the legs and you come to the same way. That's up to you, however works. But maybe you rest your forehead on the blocks. Just be here for a breath or two, opening the knees out to the sides, softening into your legs. Another breath. And just releasing the breath, come up to rise. Now we're going to come into a straddle. So take your legs out wide, and your straddle can be narrow, just the width of your mat. It can be wider. It's up to you. But only if you're on your blanket, only the sits bones on the mat, the thighs are off. So when you come into the straddle, the blanket will ultimately allow the hips to come more forward. So if you have your blocks, bring them out in front. Take your breath, toes to the sky. And as you exhale, you can walk your hands onto the blocks. Maybe you stack the blocks again like we did before. You can bring your forearms on them. Just be here for a moment or two in your straddle, toes to the sky, Soften in the legs, let the hips come a little bit more forward. If you're getting a little deeper into it, you can always place the forehead on the blocks, let the arms dangle, whatever works for you in your practice. Take another breath here, inhale. You can stack 2 blocks on top of one another too, if you're not reaching the block. There's always an option. Take another breath. Fold in. Soften wherever you can. So you're only going to be stretching at like 60% out of 100, right? Don't give it 100%. We want to make sure that this tissue that is needing to be stretched gets enough without overstretching. And then gently walk your hands back towards the legs. Maybe you're placing the blocks just off to the sides. We're going to cross the legs now. So right shin in front of the left, cross the legs, still sitting up on your block. Pressing onto the thighs, sit up tall. Take your left hand to the right knee and the right hand just behind you. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, twist and look over the right shoulder. So pull your belly button in. With each exhale, twist a little deeper, softening the shoulders away from the ears. Using your left hand to guide you a little bit more into the twist by pulling on the right knee. Breathing, twisting, and softening. Gently, as you inhale, come back to center. We're going to switch the crossing of your legs. So now the left shin is in front. Right hand to the left thigh. Take the left hand behind you. Sitting up nice and tall, big breath in. As you exhale, twist and look over the left shoulder. Now we'll be here just for a moment or two. Breathing in and out, pulling the belly button in. Using the right hand on the left knee to twist a little deeper. Just look over the left shoulder. Soften, try and get rid of any tension. One more breath. As you inhale, come back to center. All right, if you're sitting on your blanket, take your blanket off to the sides. We're going to take our block and come down onto our backs. Finishing up our class, we're going to roll our way down. Place the block right in between the inner thighs and prepare for a bridge pose. So block is going to be inner thighs, not knees. Make sure it's on the inner thighs. Squeeze the block. Walk the heels closer in towards your hips. Take the arms down the sides of the body. Now, as you inhale, squeeze the block and lift the hips any amount. You can softly tuck the shoulders underneath you. Squeeze the block. Keep the chin off the chest. Take a deep, full breath in through the belly. Full exhale, stay in your bridge pose. Rooting down through the feet. Pressing forward with the toes and the shins. Lifting your chest just a little bit more. Breathing into the belly. One more breath. And then lower the hips to the mat. We'll keep the block between the thighs, knees into the chest. Take your arms out to the sides in the T. And we're going to just big breath in. As you exhale, squeeze the block and let the legs float to the right. Take your gaze to the left. Keep squeezing the block. Try and keep your left shoulder on the mat as best you can. And then as you inhale, use the strength in your core to bring the legs back into center. Inhale. As you exhale, twist, look over the left, legs to the left, look to the right. This always makes my back just crack, feels good. Keep on letting the legs float left. Gaze right, try to get the right shoulder on the mat. Back into center, gently bring the legs in. Removing the block from in between the thighs, reaching for the shins, draw the shins in towards you, reaching for the feet. Take the soles of the feet to the sky for happy baby. Now, if you can't reach the feet, then use the arms to hook the legs. That's up to you. If you can find the feet, find the feet. Otherwise, hook the arms under the thighs. If you have the feet, let the hands pull the feet down. Let the feet press into the hands and feel your lower back come to the mat. Rock side to side gently. Massage your lower back. And then gently bring the knees into your chest. Let the feet land on the floor. Extend the legs long one at a time. Bring the arms overhead. Big breath in. Reach up. Lift arms long. Open the fingers wide. Maybe point the toes. As you exhale, just release the arms down the sides of your body. Let the toes, the knees, the hips roll open. Just let them roll to the outer parts of your mat. Take a full breath in. Let that breath start at your feet and breathe in up through the legs into the chest. As you exhale, let the breath float out through the arms and out the fingertips. Another full breath in. Pull it up from the feet, through the thighs, into the chest, right up into the head. As you exhale, soften your jaw, your eyes, your mind. Let it all go. Just release. And find stillness just for a moment. Lying in Shavasana pose. So just listen to the sound of my voice as you rest here in Shavasana. I'm going to read you a poem by Lisa Lowitz. It's called Waiting. You keep waiting for something to happen. The thing that lifts you out of yourself, catapults you into doing all the things you've put off. The great things you're meant to do in life, but somehow never quite get to. You keep waiting for the planets to shift, the new moon to bring news, the universe to align, something to give. Meanwhile, the piles of paper, the laundry, the dishes, the job, it all stacks up while you keep hoping for some miracle to blast down upon you, scattering the piles to the winds. Sometimes you lie in bed, terrified of your life. Sometimes you laugh at the privilege of waking. But all the while, life goes on its messy way. And then you turn 40 or 50 or 60, and some part of you realizes you're not alone. And you find signs of this in the animal kingdom. When a snake sheds its skin, its eyes glaze over. It slinks under a rock, not wanting to be touched. And when a caterpillar turns into a butterfly, if the pupa is brushed, it will die. Pupa. And when the bird taps its beak hungrily against the egg, it's because the thing is too small, and it needs to break out. And midlife walks you into that wisdom. That is what the transformation looks like, the mess of it, the tapping at the walls of your life, the yearning, the writhing, the pushing, until one day you emerge from the wreck, embracing both the emerged dawn and the dusk of the body, listening, beautiful, just as you are. Slowly start to make little movements with your body, wiggling your fingers and toes, rocking your head from side to side. With an inhale, full body stretch, reach the arms overhead. As you exhale, sliding the knees in towards the chest, give yourself a hug. Rolling to one side or the other, finding a fetal position. Taking another breath here, taking one more second just for yourself. And as you exhale, gently press yourself up to a comfortable seated pose facing the front of your mat. Keep your eyes closed and your head heavy if you can. Let the hands find the thighs, gently press down. Sliding the hands towards the kneecaps as you inhale, lift your heart. As you exhale, bend the elbows, bring your hands to heart center, let the thumbs come to the chest. Take a deep, full breath in. Take a deep, full breath out. Let's join our voices in the sound of Om. Inhale. Om. Bowing your head to heart with so much gratitude. Thumbs to the third eye. Namaste. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining me today. Hopefully your arms, your shoulders feel so much more open.